We're getting some breaking news now. Reportedly, 4 army men, including an officer, have been killed in the Pulwama encounter. One civilian has also been killed in the ongoing encounter in Pulwama. Meanwhile, 4 army men have lost their lives. This is the latest that we are getting to know. Currently, this encounter that we had been talking about, that's currently underway in Pulwama. Now we get to know that, in fact, 4 army officers have lost their life in that encounter. Remember, we've told you 2 terrorists were cornered by the army men. This encounter was going on since early morning, and these terrorists were holed up in that area. And now there are reports of 4 army officers having lost their life in this particular encounter that is currently underway in Pulwama, in the Pinglena area of Pulwama. That is, remember, more than 40 CRPF men had already lost their life in the massive terrorist attack in Pulwama not even a week back, and now this encounter again. These are terrorists who have Jaish links. They have links with the suicide attacker, the suicide bomber Ahmed Dar, and now we also get to know that 4 men have lost their life. This includes the major who in fact was there. 4 army officers have in fact lost their life. This is the latest that we are picking up from our sources. Executive Editor Gaurav Sawant is now reporting live. Gaurav, what are the inputs? 4 army officers who've lost their life in the Pulwama encounter that's currently underway.
This operation started a little after midnight. The entire area in Pulwama, where this village was cordoned off, based on the presence of 3 Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists, 3 to 4 Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists, 1 officer and 3 other ranks. 1 officer and 3 other ranks, unfortunately, were very grievously injured in the operation. They were then taken to the 92 base hospital in Srinagar, where unfortunately, it is reported that they've succumbed to their injuries. So the information is of 1 officer and 3 other ranks, 3 Jawans in this operation. Additional forces have been rushed to this area. The army, the CRPF and the Jammu and Kashmir police have mounted a massive multi-pronged offensive in this area, where they've isolated the house or the locality from where the firing is happening, but the operation still continues.
Gaurav, any updates on these 2 terrorists who are holed up in that house where the army officers have gone ahead and cordoned the area?
So the information that came in a little before midnight yesterday was about the presence of 2 to 3 Pakistani Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists hiding in this area. There were also inputs about an alleged link, a reported link with the recent Pulwama terror attack on the on the CRPF convoy. So based on that, this operation was mounted. We are still waiting for more details because the operation is still on, and internet services in the area have now been disconnected.
Also, Gaurav, the fact that these 2 terrorists who are holed up in that area also have linked with Ahmed Dar, the suicide bomber who had attacked the 40 CRPF men, the convoy which was taking the men.
That is the apprehension, and this is a bigger module of Pakistani terrorists, according to intelligence inputs, and that is why this operation was mounted. It was a joint operation. The 5th Battalion of the Rashtriya Rifles Regiment, along with CRPF and Jammu and Kashmir Police, they cordoned off the area. The terrorists opened fire, and this operation has been on for several hours now. And that is why there are also some restrictions on movement in this area. Of course, the information from what sources tell India today was extremely credible, that these were the people who had apparently been a part of that module that was involved in the Pulwama terror attack on the CRPF convoy.
Gaurav, 1 civilian has also been killed in this encounter. Can you just explain to us this place that we are talking about? How far is this place from the earlier encounter site, so that our viewers can get a sense on exactly where is this encounter happening?
This is, Pulwama is about 40 minutes away from Srinagar, but this isn't on the highway. This is in one of the villages in Pulwama. And that is where the army last night cordoned off the area. The link is that perhaps it was in or around this villa where these terrorists had rigged together that vehicle. But this so far is in the realm of speculation, because this is what the inputs were, based on which the army, the CRPF, and the Jammu and Kashmir police they mounted an operation. And the procedure is, while the army carries out the anti-terrorist operation, the CRPF is going to be that there is no hindrance to the military operation. And if there is a hindrance, the cause of the hindrance is dealt with, by the CRPF and the Jammu and Kashmir police. We are still waiting, Griha, for some more inputs to filter in. But from what sources were telling India Today since yesterday, that intelligence inputs present.
All right, we seem to have a problem with that audio link with Gaurav. We'll try and re-establish that line with our executive editor Gaurav Sawant, but this is the latest that we are getting to know. 4 army officers have been killed in the ongoing encounter in the Pulwama district of Jammu and Kashmir. 1 civilian is also reported to have lost his life in this encounter, which is currently underway in the Pinglena area of Pulwama. This is a small village in Pulwama. There is no fresh firing from the last 3 hours that have been reported from the encounter site, but searches are currently underway. My colleague Shuja now joins me live. Shuja, the latest that you are picking up now.
Well, Griha, we are getting to understand that, this operation began at around midnight today. There were senior officers who were themselves monitoring this operation since yesterday. They had specific information about presence of these militants. Sources are suggesting that this is a Jaish module, which probably could also have some links with the attack that has taken place just recently in Pulwama on CRPF. Now, in this in particular encounter, we are told that when the troops moved in and were trying to zero in on the target house, they were suddenly fired upon, and it was in the initial bout of the firing that these soldiers got injured. Now, sources are suggesting that at least 4 of these soldiers have succumbed to the injuries, and 1 civilian has also been killed in the crossfire. So far, we've been told that for last 2 to 3 hours there is no firing from the spot, but the security forces, which includes the army, the CRPF and the J&K Police Special Operations Group, are on the job. They are searching the entire area. Locals saying that after midnight so far we haven't heard any fresh gunfight, but the police and the other agency is saying that the encounter is still on. Griha?
Shuja, can you just describe to us this area, because we are also talking in the wake of this massive terrorist attack that has befallen Pulwama only a few days back. The nation is still, seething in a lot of anger, against Pakistan and also these terrorists, these, JAM terrorists, which have actually gone ahead, who have been responsible for this attack. And now this fresh encounter and these 2 militants who are believed to be holed up in that particular area are also having Jaish links.
Well, yes, that's what we've been given to understand. This module seems to be linked to Jaish-e-Mohammed outfit only. I was speaking to the top officials, and they were telling me that they were working on these leads for last couple of days, and last night the entire operation was put together. A joint team of forces was sent in, and they started their coordinate search operation in this area. Now, this is a village in Pulwama. Yes, the attack that took place on the CRPF on Saturday was in the same district, but
Shuja,
that was on the highway.
I'll just come back to you. We are also joined by on the phone line by Lieutenant General Raj Kadayan. Let's quickly go across to him. Sir, do you think this particular encounter could also be a follow-up of that massive terrorist attack that befell Pulwama, and now we have an encounter that is raging on in and around that particular area itself?
Very likely. It is expected that after that dastardly attack, the security forces will intensify their operations to get hold of the perpetrators and the supporters. Even the expert mind on explosives who had come from Pakistan, who had experience of this activity in Afghanistan, Qazi Rasid, or also known as Kamran, is known to be hiding in Pulwama area. So this intensification of operation is on the expected lines, and I am sure the security forces, backed by a good intelligence network, would nab the perpetrators and those who are still in the waiting to do similar activities in future. Because if the expert had come, he couldn't have trained only one Adil Dar, he would have trained a number of people, and there will be more such attacks. Particularly with the election coming, Pakistan will try everything to disturb the election schedule or to influence the outcome. That is their intention. So this was expected line. The loss of soldiers is a sad thing, but then that is part of military operations.
The fact that there's a lot of distressing news also coming in early morning where one army officer and 3 Jawans have lost their lives in this encounter.
Yeah, that is sad. We condole with the families, we condole with the army and the units. But as I said, in these kind of operations where it is difficult to identify an adversary from a friend, these are difficult. Insurgency is always the most difficult operations because they mingle with the local population, they get support from some local population, though not largely it's being done. So this kind of casualties can only be expected. It's a sad loss, but this is part of the military operations.
Right. Abhishek Bhalla is also now through with me. He's joining me live from Srinagar. Abhishek, what are you picking up from your sources there? The fact that one army officer has also lost his life, also 3 Jawans have been killed in this encounter.
Yes, that's right. We are hearing reports of 4 casualties in this encounter that took place. There was specific information with the security forces and a search operation was launched to flush out 2 Jaish terrorists in Pulwama. Now there are reports that these were linked to Adil Dar, the suicide bomber who rammed his explosive-laden vehicle in the CRPF bus that killed over 40 CRPF troops. Now what we are hearing is that there has been no exchange of fire for the last 2 to 3 hours, but the area is still cordoned off. The army and the CRPF are still in the area. They are still making attempts to flush out the terrorists, but the casualties, the reports of the casualties come as a major setback.
Abhishek, one civilian has also been killed in this encounter. You're saying that there has been no firing for the last couple of hours or maybe more. But, just take us through the kind of area that we're talking about over here and the fact that one civilian has also lost his life in this encounter.
Yes, areas in South Kashmir have had big terror recruitment over the last 1 year. In fact, local recruitment last year was pegged at 192. So the number of local recruits has really gone up, and that's the reason why search operations and security forces movement in the area becomes extremely difficult because the information is easy to get leaked. It gets to the terrorists who have their hideouts in these places. In fact, Adil Dar hailed from Kakapura area. That's been a hotbed of terror activity in the last 1 year. LET commander Abu Dujana was also operating from this place. So this is an area in South Kashmir which has seen big terror activity in the last 1 year, and that's the reason why there have been frequent encounters. There are cordons, there are search operations, but sometimes there can be casualties like today.
Shuja is also with me on this story. Shuja, the fact that 4 army men have gone ahead, lost their lives. This is right, not even a week after that massive terrorist encounter in Pulwama, and this is very close to that encounter site that we are talking about. 2 terrorists are already holed up in that area. The gunfight is currently, I believe, the firing is not on, but the search and cordon operation is still underway. All right, I don't think we have Shuja at the moment. Abhishek, I'll ask the same question to you. Just take us through the search and cordon operation that's currently underway. You're saying the firing is not on for the last couple of hours, but two militants that had been cornered by the army are still holed up in that area.
Yes, that's right. Contact was established with the terrorists earlier this morning. There was specific information of at least two terrorists, Jaish terrorists who were in the area operating from here. That's when the security forces moved in. The area was cordoned off, search operations were going on, and then there was an exchange of fire. The security party that was looking out for the terrorists was fired upon. They retaliated, and there was a gun battle for quite some time. Initial reports said that there are 4 security men who've been injured, and now we are hearing that these 4 have actually succumbed to their injuries. They were rushed to the hospital, but we believe that they have not survived. But the area is still under watch, under observation. Security forces still continue to be there. Search operations still continue. It will take some time for the authorities to come out and officially give a word on the casualties to us, though.
Also, Abhishek, more than one reason to believe that this is a follow-up of that massive terrorist encounter in Pulwama. The fact that these militants also believed to have links with the Jaish terrorists.
There has been massive recruitment by the Jaish in South Kashmir over the last 1 year. In fact, there has been a shift in strategy by Jaish-e-Mohammed. Earlier, it used to be the Pakistani terrorists who would be sent to carry out terror strikes, and especially Fidain attacks like the one that took place in Pulwama on the CRPF convoy. But now the number of local youth in Jaish cadre is extremely high, and that's a very, very alarming and dangerous trend, according to security officials who've been observing the situation closely. And they say that many of these local youth have been radicalized. They have handlers in Pakistan. They have been tasked to carry out such attacks. In fact, many of them have been made experts at putting together improvised explosives devices, and it's a very alarming situation. I myself traveled to Kakapura in Pulwama district where Adil Dar's family lives, and the situation is pretty grim because there is big support for the terrorists who go out and carry out these terror operations. Every time there is an encounter with the security forces, the locals come out and start to pelt stones on the forces. So it becomes really difficult to carry out these anti-terror operations in such an environment.
All right. Also, Lieutenant General B.S. Malik is now joining me on the phone line. Sir, you know, after so many CRPF men lost their lives only recently in that massive terrorist attack, now 4 army men have again lost their life. This is an encounter that's currently underway very close to that site in Pulwama itself.
The question is, the South Kashmir is where the PDP has a stronghold, and the population there is influenced by the terrorist ideology. And the previous government, the Mahbooba Mufti, has been tolerating a lot of liberties being taken by the crowd, by the young people, under various claims that they are young, they are misguided. But the actual situation is that there has been sympathy. And that's why this situation has come to this pass. What happened earlier was an incident in that there was a person who was inspired by a person, a terrorist from Afghanistan, who inspired this young man to carry out the suicide attack, which killed our 40 brave CRPF Jawans. But that was an incident. This has not actually gone down very well as far as that area is concerned. They have taken this as a sign of their victory over the security forces. And that is why they are continuing with this effort. And the population is continuing to thwart the security forces as and when they fight the insurgents in that area. It is quite natural that this will continue till such time any major action is taken by the armed forces or the security forces from India across the border. Because the message has really not gone across. It has been only talk presently, show of sentiment, which is quite natural, but they have not felt the pain. The pain has to be felt by their handlers across the border. Once the pain is felt, then you'll find that they will desist from this kind of activity, and the number of separatists in Kashmir could go down. This has to continue. The order that has come from the government about cutting down the security cover of the separatist leader will have an effect, and this must be continued. Pressure cannot be allowed to be slackened in any way. That is the only way that the results on the ground will show. I feel sorry, and my sympathies with the families of the soldier and the officer who have been killed today. And I feel very anguished that we have taken so long to take hard action as far as the militancy in South Kashmir is concerned. We must separate South Kashmir from the rest of the area. After all, what is stopping us? Jammu and the area around is our full control. Ladakh is in full control. North Kashmir is not that bad. It is only a small area in South Kashmir which has been nurtured by the PDP and other separatist leaders. Why can't we separate this area and have separate rules for them so that the rest of the area doesn't go against the armed forces or the government? This area must be separated and must be dealt with as such.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Also, Lieutenant General Shikhatkar, defense expert, is also joining me on the phone line. So you heard B.S. Malik over there. The fact that South Kashmir is the target once again, and now 4 army men have lost their lives in this encounter.
Yes, madam. It is unfortunate. It is unfortunate we are losing our lives of our soldiers. There are 3 things I would request recommendations or the considerations. Firstly, I am of the firm opinion. I have been there. I have served there. Pulwama, and all right from Pulwama up to Kupwara and Baramulla was being looked after by me. When terrorism was at peak, people had given up. People in Delhi used to say, we have lost Kashmir. Armed forces, thanks to the people of armed forces, the state police, and everybody, Kashmir is there. Kashmir will remain there. But the question is, at what cost? And at whose cost? Therefore, a time has come for us to take 3 immediate measures. Though late, yesterday the security of these traitors had been withdrawn. I recommended this almost about 20 years back, that they will cause a lot of damage. Our government has woken up now. At least it is there. Second recommendation, we must withdraw all security from everybody, irrespective of which political party that everybody belongs to. If they claim they belong to Kashmir, if they claim they are fighting for people, if they claim they represent the people, then people of Kashmir will not kill them. And if they claim that they are fighting for Pakistan's good, then Pakistan will not kill them. And if they are propagating the cause of terrorists, then the terrorists should not kill them. Why should we put these people there? Why should they have security in their own country, in their own area? The third thing is, over a period of time, area of South Kashmir, which includes Pulwama, Anantnag, and all these places, has become a hard bub. What a shame. They are not allowed even the Lok Sabha election to take place. North Kashmir, from where Farooq Abdullah has won, at a marginal majority, they allowed that. That means South Kashmir has now become a hub. There are a number of reasons which I don't want to go. But the politicians who represent South Kashmir must be looked after now. They are the ones who do not want South Kashmir to remain peaceful, including the members of the previous ruling party. I repeat again, some of the members of the previous ruling party. My fourth recommendation is there are total 243 people or the families or the influential people in Kashmir who are making millions and millions and millions of rupees at the cost of terrorism. Terrorism has become a cottage industry today. You kill few soldiers here and there and you get what you want to do it. These 243 families, if they can be neutralized, terrorism will come to a grounding halt. Final point.
Right.
Let us keep away Kashmir. Let's develop Jammu. Let's develop Ladakh. Let us develop Kargil until people of Kashmir Valley itself, when they say enough is enough and more than enough is not required, then only we should start investing money in that part.
Right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Also, Major General Ashok Mehta is also joining me on the phone line. Sir, your first thoughts. 4 army men have lost their lives yet again, and this is an area very close to that encounter site in Pulwama.
Well, it's obviously stepping up the ante. This is not just an isolated event. It is obviously linked to Pulwama and the overall strategy now devised by the terrorist organizations within Jammu and Kashmir, sponsored and abetted directly by the ISI. And I feel that this attack is designed to draw a response, the kind of response that the Prime Minister has said, that he has left it to the army to decide on what it needs to do at a time and place of its choosing. And therefore, the response, the urgency of the response is being stimulated by the Pakistani organizations. I would recommend that whatever we do, we must do with a very cool head, with a very cool mind, and we should not be drawn into something for which we are not completely prepared. Remember, the country is going into an election in a couple of weeks, and therefore any knee-jerk reaction at this stage can cost the country dearly. A response is required, and I'm sure a response will come. But we have to look at the big picture, and the big picture is that if the Pakistanis and the terrorists who are associated directly with this attack are looking for a bigger game, then we have to be very, very cautious in our responses. And obviously the last thing I'd like to say is that the gloves are off as far as the terrorists are concerned. You've now got the IED reintroduced into Jammu and Kashmir after a period of 10 to 12 years. So that's the most potent threat. And the second is this current attack on the army soldiers.
Right. Major General Ashok Mehta, thank you so much for joining us. Meanwhile, these are visuals on your screen from a few hours back. This is the Pinglena area of Jammu and Kashmir, South Kashmir that we're talking about. Remember, not very far from here, that massive terrorist attack had taken place only a few days ago where 40 CRPF men had lost their life, and today 4 army men, that includes 1 army officer, have again lost their lives in an ongoing encounter between security forces and terrorists who are currently holed up in the area.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.